Hello and welcome to our webinar about hearing from the Assistant Dean of Engineering. But first of all, welcome to the Fulton Schools of Engineering at ASU. So of course, you've been admitted into one of our graduate programs and we're very excited about that. And so we want to tell you a little bit more about what's happening here at ASU. But first of all, by way of introduction, my name is Patrick Phelan. I'm the Assistant Dean of Graduate Programs in Engineering, but I'm also a professor of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering, and I'm in the School for Engineering of Matter, Transport, and Energy that we also call SEMTE. My own area of research is largely in energy, so including buildings, solar energy, and especially energy efficiency. So, you may not have seen this before, but this is the layout of the Fulton Schools of Engineering here at ASU. So we're pretty unique in that we contain 6 different schools, like you can see here. So I've already mentioned my own school. My school is the School for Engineering of Matter, Transport, and Energy, and that includes a variety of engineering programs. And so the engineering programs you probably recognize, things like aerospace engineering, chemical engineering, material science, and so forth. So we group these engineering programs together into one school in order to foster the kind of interdisciplinary research and interdisciplinary education that's so important in today's world. The other schools are formed in a similar manner. So for example, if we look at the second from the left, the School of Computing, Informatics, and Decision Systems Engineering, that's called SIDSE. So this contains our ever popular computer science programs, part of our computer engineering programs, industrial engineering, and so forth. We do have some programs that cross several schools. And so a good example of that would be robotics and autonomous systems. This is one of our newest master's degrees programs, and it includes concentrations in SIDSE, in electrical engineering, in SEMTE, as well as at the Polytechnic School. And above, you can see some of our different partners here at ASU who are outside of engineering. So we have a lot of connections across all of ASU, as you can see there. Very popular, for example, would be the Institute of Sustainability, also the School of Earth and Space Exploration, where spacecraft and space design takes place, the Biodesign Institute, and so forth. So what can you expect in a graduate program, and how might this be different from what you've seen before at the undergraduate level? Well, one hand, and the very first bullet is arguably the most important, the work is very rigorous. So you might have been, used to taking many classes as an undergrad. Perhaps you're taking 5, 6, sometimes even more classes all at the same time, and you probably did very well. But in graduate school, meaning when you take graduate courses, the courses in general are going to be a lot more difficult than what you've seen before at the undergraduate level. So that's why most students take no more than 3 classes at a time. And that might not seem like very much to you, but actually it is. That's pretty much a full-time job, believe it or not. But on top of the classwork, there are also many opportunities to expand your experience, and we really encourage you to take advantage of as many of these opportunities as possible. I'll talk about those more specifically here in a few slides, but the important thing is that this is your opportunity to customize your graduate experience. We're not going to tell you everything that you should be doing. Sure, we're going to give you guidelines about what are the required courses in your major, and so what you need to do to satisfy your degree requirements. But after that, it's really up to you. And this is where you can take charge of your graduate education and get as much out of it as you can. So what happens to our graduates? So of course, you're coming to ASU. Your goal probably is after you graduate, you're looking for a job. So how have students been doing with respect to post-graduation employment? So here's some data leading up to last year, so the academic year 2018-2019. For international students, that you might be one, the important thing is OPT. So that stands for optional practical training. And so it's a necessary step, right, to work outside of the university after graduation. You can see here from this graph in the upper right-hand corner that cumulatively, OPT is vast number here at ASU, and this is just for engineering graduate students. So in other words, that means in the year 2018 to 2019, we had nearly 9,000 students engaged in OPT. So that's a huge, huge number, and that's a reflection of not only the size of the engineering school here at ASU, but also our success, or I should say, the success of our students in getting good jobs afterwards. And you can see some of the employers here on the left-hand side in that table. Now, in terms of internships, so in other words, partial employment while you're still going to school, usually in the summertime. Again, if we think about international students and internships, fully 28% of our international students participate in CPT, or curricular practical training. And so that percentage depends a lot upon which program you're in. So for instance, in computer science, that percentage would be quite a bit higher than that. But 28% is an average number across the entire School of Engineering. We also have our own dedicated career center just for engineering students. This provides a variety of services, as you can see here. And again, we really encourage you to take advantage of this as much as possible. It's here for you, and it's here to help you identify internships as well as post-graduation employment. We have career festivals that take place each semester, spring and fall, on both campuses. So both at the Tempe campus as well as at the Poly campus. And days of those festivals are devoted to just graduate students. So that means people like yourself. More about why ASU, and so why you should consider coming to ASU. We'd like to talk about what we call the Fulton difference. And really what this means is, what are those extra opportunities that are outside of the classroom that you can become engaged in? So one, for example, at the top, research experience. We have, I think, a unique program that targets all of our engineering master students, and it's called the Master's Opportunity for Research in Engineering, or we call it the MORE program. So through this program, each of our master students can apply for funding, a $1,500 stipend per semester, as well as an additional $400 in research expenses. And if you get this funding together with a faculty member, then you can pursue your own research. And maybe that leads to a thesis, or maybe it leads to an applied project, or maybe it's just a project that you're passionate about, that you want to get involved in. And this gives you the opportunity to do so. As I mentioned before, we have our own dedicated career center. Something very important to us here at ASU is our entrepreneurial mindset. We have many opportunities for our students to get involved, to participate in competitions that could lead to funding. It could lead to mentorship. It could lead to office space for your budding startup. So we encourage you to pursue these kinds of entrepreneurial dreams that you might have. And then finally, beyond the classroom. Let's say you want to do more than just take classes. Well, you can get involved in community service, for example, through our EPICS program, the Engineering Projects and Community Service. Devil's Invent, that goes back now to our entrepreneurship opportunities. Again, what makes us innovative? We have a lot of research going on here in engineering. And just within the College of Engineering, we have now more than $100 million in research funding a year. So there's a big variety of research going on. Shown here, of course, are just 3 examples. And so, for example, a very, very important project these days, led by Professor Lackner, is how can we scrub the air of CO2? So how can we take down CO2 directly from the atmosphere? The middle one, Professor Tom Sugar at our Polytechnic campus is modeling a wearable robotics. Robotics is a very big area of emphasis for us in research here in the College of Engineering. And in fact, on the right-hand side is another example of a type of robotics, drones. We have now the largest indoor drone studio in academia here at ASU. And this is a brand new facility that we're very proud to have just launched. Entrepreneurship, I mentioned before, this is a key thing, our entrepreneurial thinking. You see there at the top some of the numbers. I mentioned the research expenditures already, but also we have a great deal of intellectual property development going on at the same time. More than 140 patents in the last 3 years, again, just from engineering. 19 NSF Career Awards. These are for young faculty. These are very prestigious awards for our young faculty. And then finally, 21 startups in the last 3 years alone. And of course, startups generally are founded as a collaboration between faculty and students, although sometimes it's just students who form these startups. And as I mentioned before, there are different opportunities, different competitions to get engaged with that you can apply for funding. Some of these are listed down here below, including Venture Devils. So you can win some funding. So in cases, this can be as much as $100,000 to start your company or to start your nonprofit venture. So finally, let's conclude here. I want to emphasize that ASU has been recognized as #1 in the United States for innovation now for 5 years in a row. In fact, ever since this category was invented, we have claimed the #1 title. And I'd like to stop here and say thank you very much. And I very much hope to see you this fall.